Hello students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I am here to give you very clear and detailed information about the articles, significance of articles and their usage. It covers your Module 3. It is one of the topic in your Module 3 of Grammar and Vocabulary. So, we are going to talk about the significance of articles and their usage. Articles play a very vital role in representing the subject and the object's position. It's definite and indefinite entity. So, let us try to know them and try to use them properly in the way they have to be placed in the sentences. Let us get started. Now, article is a word which points out at a person, thing or place spoken of. Thus, article refers to a noun. So, articles will point out the position of the person, a man, a woman. Okay, so it is going to point out the position of a person or anything or a noun. So, articles point out the person, how they are, what they are. Is it a definite position or the indefinite position? Now, articles are used before nouns and noun equivalents and are type of adjectives. They are a kind of adjectives which will point out the person's place of definiteness and or indefiniteness. It will describe those things. Now, for example, let us see some examples of the articles. I am a good boy. I am a good boy. A good boy. Why can't I say I am the good boy? Because there are many other children who are good. I am one among them. So, I am a good boy. Next, he is a topper. He is a topper. Now, here we are saying he is a topper. That means one. A topper among many other toppers. So, it is pointing the person, definiteness or indefiniteness. She is having an umbrella. Okay. Next, she is an introvert. Here you can see these are vowels. A, E, I, O, U. Okay. And is used before vowel sounds. So, remember this. Next, the Ganges is such a big river. The Ganges. There is only one Ganges which is definite. It has its own place. That is the reason we are indicating here as the Ganges. The Ganges is such a big river. One more example. The United States is a big country. The United States is a big country. So, articles point out the nouns, their place, the element of their presence, how they are pointed in the position of their situation is your article. Now, we generally have two types of articles, indefinite articles and definite articles. I repeat, indefinite articles and definite articles. Now, what are the indefinite articles? Indefinite articles refer to the general things, which are common, which are not specific. But on the other side, definite article refer to the specific things. Just remember, when you are referring the common things, not specific things, you can use a and an. But when you are referring to the definite things, which are specific, which you want to tell about something very specific, you will be using the. Okay? Next. The definite article, the, is used before a noun to indicate that the identity, I repeat, identity of the noun is known as to the reader. So, When is that we are going to use this definite article to show the identity, the particular specific position of that particular noun, we are going to use the. Now, for example, I could tell you to meet me at the top of the Empire State Building. Just have a look over the position of the. I could tell you to meet at the top of the Empire State Building. Now, when we use here the before this Empire State Building, that means it is specifically mentioning the Empire State Building, which is unique, which is specific, which is one. Then at the top, there are many tops. Okay, we have top of for every building, but at the top of the top building of the Empire State. So, in this way, to indicate the specific position of that particular noun, we are using the. Next, the Rashtrapati Bhavan is situated in Delhi. Now, here the Rashtrapati Bhavan, it is one, it is unique, it is definite. So, we are using the. Next, the Sasangir is situated in Gujarat. So, we are specifically talking about this place. Where is it situated? In Gujarat. So, in that way, we are going to use the before the nouns which indicate the specific position of it. Next, some more example. Let us see. The Nile is the longest river. The Nile is the longest river. See the use of the at two places. Nile is one. It is specific. So, we are using in front of the Nile. Next, the longest river. It is the longest river. It is one of, not one of the longest. It is the. It is specifically we are saying it is the long. When you have definite expression, you are very sure about that which is very specific. We use the. Next, I read the Times of India. There are many newspapers which I read, but that person, he is reading only Times of India, the Times of India. So, it is mentioning the specificness of the person who is reading that particular newspaper. Next, I am eating the apple that you have bought. Here, I am not saying I am eating an apple. We can use an apple also, but we are not using it. I want to render the specific message to the other person saying that I am eating the apple which you have bought. There are many apples, but I am eating the apple which you have bought for me. That is the reason we are using the here. Next, I am eating the pear that you have bought. Again, the same thing. Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India. He is the first Prime Minister of India. That is the reason we are specifically using the here. Next, what is indefinite article? The is the definite article which takes the position when it is specific in rendering the information about the noun. Next, and a and an. These are the two indefinite articles which can be used to mention the common things which are in common. We are not making any special reference while using a and an. Let us see them in detail. The indefinite article a and is used before noun. That is general, that which is common, and when its identity is not known. We use a or an in general to render the common element. We are not specifically referring anything. When the identity is not known, we are using it. Now, the choice between a and an. Now, both the things we can use for common things, which we can use for general information. But how can we differentiate the use of a and an? Again, a big question mark. Okay, you cannot use a and an for every common thing. You have a dilemma whether I should use a or an. How is that segregated? The use of a and an is segregated in the indefinite articles. Now, the choice between a and an is determined by sound. The sound of the word decides whether you are going to use a or an. How? Which sound? Before the beginning of vowel sound. Now, when we are using a word with vowel sound, you have to use an. But when you are using the sound of consonants, you can use a. Now, let us try to understand them with more number of examples such that it is clear to you. For example, an egg. An egg. A-E-I-O-U. Egg. Egg. So, here this is indicating the vowel sound. So, we are using an. An orange. An orange. O. Next, an honest man. You can ask me why H is not the vowel. But here it is playing the role of silent. We are saying an honest man. O. Next, an hour. An hour. Okay. Here we are not saying our. Our is the wrong pronunciation. An hour. An honest man. An orange. An egg. So, you are going to use an before the words which give the sound of vowels. Okay. Next, a and an are used with the singular number only. This is the very important thing which you have to remember, because we use for singular forms. We are not here going to use a or an for plural purposes. Next, now just see here, the indefinite article tell us something non-specific. When we are saying a thief, this is any thief. He is not known to the writer or the readers. When we say a thief, and thief, here it comes only a thief. That means a thief can be any thief. I have seen a thief. Who is that thief? It can be anything. Among many other thieves, he is one person. We don't know. But here in the next thing, the definite article tell us something in specific. The thief. The thief who committed robbery in the next house was caught. The thief who committed robbery in the next house was caught. That means specifically we are telling that the person who has committed the robbery in the next house was caught. Okay, we are not talking here about any thief. We are talking about that specific thief who has committed the robbery in the next house was caught. So, here we are making the reference specifically in the second context. But whereas in the other first context, it is a thief. I have seen a thief. Who is that thief? You don't know. There are many thieves. You have seen a thief. Okay. So, in that way, a and an indicates the common things, general things, while the indicates the specific reference of the events. Next, some more examples of indefinite articles a and an. Now, first one. He is not an extrovert. He is not an extrovert. Extrovert. Okay. A. Vowel sound. So, we are using an. Next. I'm eating an apple. I'm eating an apple. And A-E-I-O-U. Vowel sound. Again. Next. She is eating an egg daily. She is eating an egg daily. Okay. Next. He was not mad. He was not a mad. Why we are not using an? Why is that we are not using? Because it is not rendering the vowel sound. A-E-I-O-U. It is referring towards the consonant sound. M. mad, mad. So he was not a mad. Next, he is a painter. He is a painter. Painter. So that is the reason we are using a. Next, she is baking a cake. A cake. K. C. Sound of C. That is k. He is baking a cake. So that is the reason we are using a. I hope the difference of the sound makes the usage of a and an possible in that sentence. We have to be very careful while using a and an. It is very, very important to use proper way the or a or an, because it really makes the sentence change its meaning, change its way of rendering. So try to concentrate while using your a or an or the. Next, indefinite article a. A is used before singular noun beginning with consonant sound. We have already discussed it. We are going to use in the singular way and also in front of the consonant sounds. Next, and before a singular noun beginning with the vowel sound. These are the two important rules you have to remember and also practice while using the articles. Next, we have count nouns and non-count nouns. Nouns that can be countable and that cannot be non-countable. Now, how is that you are going to use these articles? With those we will see. Now, what are count nouns? Refers to items that can be counted and are either singular or plural. So, the nouns which can be countable and they have the quality of being singular or plural are called countable nouns. While it comes to non-countable nouns, they cannot be counted. Okay? There cannot be any plural form. It is only singular form. Next. Just see this. Rule 1 to specify count nouns. Specific identity not known. The rule, first rule is specific identity not known. When it comes to non-count nouns, what are the examples of those? A and an. Here, specific identity is not known and they are completely in the form of singular. Next, rule 2. For the specific identity, for the count nouns, we don't have any kind of article. Next, specific identity known. What are the articles we are going to use? The. Right? Next, rule 3. All things are things in general. In general, what are the things we are referring? Maybe sometimes they will not have any kind of article. So, only common thing, common rule which you all have to remember is you have to use a and an before only the singular nouns, and you have to be very careful when you are using a and an while understanding the sound of the word which you are going to place it. Now, let us try to understand the rules specifically. Specific identity not known. What does that mean? Use the indefinite article a or an only with a singular count noun whose specific identity is not known. A book, a man, a child. Okay, you are going to use in front of the singular noun with there is no identical information given, with no specific identity mentioned. Next, use a before nouns that begin with a consonant sound and use and before nouns that begin with vowel sound. However, how much ever in detail we discuss, it is very, very important, and the first rule is to remember usage of a and an is before singular forms. Next thing is a is used before vowel sounds, an is used before the consonantal sounds. Next, use the article a or an to indicate any non-specified member of a group or a category. Let me explain you this with an example such that it is clear. I think an animal is in the garage. What is animal? It is a common noun. Many animals are there. Specific, if you are giving a specific name to that animal. For example, I think a dog is in the garage. If we replace this word dog, here it is a proper noun which has specific identity. Isn't it? But we are using here an or a to indicate the group name which is given particularly to it. That is, you are going to use a or an before a common noun too. Okay. Next, that man is a bad person. Okay. Now, here, specifically you are saying that man is that having bad qualities. Isn't it? Next, we are looking for an apartment. An apartment. There are many apartments. Between them, among them, we are using an apartment. Next, use the article a or an to indicate one in number as opposed to more than one. Let us see this also with an example. I own a cat and 2 dogs. Now, here we are not using any article before dogs because here it is more in number. But when it is only one, we are using a. I own a cat and 2 dogs. That is, when it is only one, specifically singular, we are using a. When there are 2, we are not using it. Okay. Next, use the article a before a consonant sound and use an before vowel sound. Some more examples. A boy, an apple. See the difference? A boy. Boy, b. B. B sound. B. So it is the consonant sound. That is the reason we are using a here. Whereas apple, it is a. A-E-I-O-U. Vowel sounds. An apple. An apple. Okay. Next. Sometimes an adjective comes between the article and the noun. So, sometimes there will be adjectives presence between the article and the noun. Let us see how. An unhappy boy. An unhappy boy. Here, an is your article. Unhappy is the adjective and boy is the noun. An unhappy boy. So, we are using an adjective to describe the boy while using an. So, this is also there. There is a possibility. Next, a red apple. A red apple. Red is adjective, a is article and apple is the noun. So, in this way, we can use articles. Next, the plural form of a or an is some. Now, an apple, some apples. Okay, what is a plural form of a or an? Some apples. Some. A is one. Some is also, which may be one only. One or two. Because there are many apples. So, I want some apples. So, I am not indicating that I am going to take all the apples. I am going to take some apple. Or if I can also say, I want to take one apple. The meaning is the same. Isn't it? You are not going to take anyway the apples which are all present there. You can say one apple or some apple. It's okay. The plural form of a and an can be some. This is also one of the rule which you have to remember. Next, specific identity known. This is for definite article. When you know the specific identity of particular thing or the person which is in the form of a noun, you are going to use the. Use the article the when a particular noun has already been mentioned before. When it is mentioned already before, you are going to use the. Okay, when it is specified. See, let us relate here with an example. I ate an apple yesterday. The apple was juicy and delicious. Just try to understand this sentence clearly. At one place, we are using an. But the in the other place, we are using the. Why? Why is this difference happened here? Let us sort it out. I ate an apple yesterday. I'm telling that I ate an apple yesterday. There are many apples. An apple. I took an apple and ate. We don't know which specific apple I took. I took an apple. The apple was juicy and delicious. Here, we are specifically referring to the apple which you have ate yesterday. So, there is the specific information of that particular apple. That is the reason we are using the here. Okay. When we know the specific identity of this, we are using the. When we don't know the specific apple here, we are using an. That is the difference. That is the way we are going to use our articles. Try to be smart. Try to be wise. Try to practice more such that the usage of these articles will surely make your language very, very efficient, and it will be very, very nice to speak. When you know the difference between using a word, an article before singular forms or the plural forms, or the definiteness or the indefiniteness of the particular situation, place or anything. Now let us see. Use the article the when an adjective, phrase, clause describing the noun clarifies or restricts its identity. The can also be used before all these things when there is no clarification or restricts its identity. Now let us understand this with an example. The boy sitting next to me raised his hand. The boy sitting next to me. Now what is the phrase here? Next to me. The boy sitting next to me. There are many boys in the auditorium. But here I am not talking of any boy other than the boy sitting next to me. Specifically, you are mentioning about the boy who is sitting next to you. Maybe you don't know that person, but you are specifically referring to that particular boy who is just sitting next to you. Okay, next. Thank you for the advice you gave me. The advice. Thank you. Okay, a phrase or a clause, anything. You are using it and saying the advice. That means I may be giving many advices, but I am thanking you for the advice you gave me. You may be giving advice to many other people, but I am thanking you for the advice which you gave to me. Okay, next. Use the article the when the noun refers to something unique. When the noun is referring to something unique, that which is one, that cannot be replaced. Now let us see. The theory of relativity. The theory of relativity. This is the theory which is very unique, which is specific, which was told at some point of circumstances by some people, some person, isn't it? Next, the 2003 federal budget. There are many years, but we are talking specifically, uniquely, only about 2003 budget. We are not talking the budget about the other years. We are specifically talking about the budget of the year 2003. This is the specific identity, the way you are going to use the definite article. Next, all things or things in general, anything that which is in general, anything which is in common, we are going to use it. There is no article with plural count nouns. Remember this. We are not using any article before the plural count nouns. That the nouns which have plural forms, we are not using any articles. Avoid usage of article before the plural count nouns. Let us see through examples. Trees are beautiful in the fall. Trees are beautiful in the fall. Are we using the trees? No. It is plural. Trees is plural. You can say all trees are plural, beautiful in the fall. Next. he was asking for advice. He was asking for advice. We are not saying an advice. We are saying advice. He was asking for advice in general. So, we are not using either a or an here. Next, I do not like coffee. I do not like all coffee in general. When I say I want some coffee, I am referring that I want little coffee. I don't want to drink lot of coffee. But when I am saying I do not like coffee, what does that mean? I literally don't like coffee in general. That's all. Here specifically I am telling you that I don't like any kind of coffee. Next, additional information which will help you in the usage of articles. Now, when indicating an unspecified limited amount of a count or non-count nouns. Now, how is that? You are going to address those which are unspecified, which have the meaning of limited amount of count or non-count. Let us see. My cousin was seeking some advice from a counselor. Now, just try to understand this example. My cousin was seeking some advice. We already have spoke that some is the plural form of a or an. Now, my cousin was seeking some advice from a counselor. He is asking for some advice, not lot of advice, not the complete advice, some advice, so that he can solve his problem on his own. Now, what does that mean? Not advice in general or advice about everything, but a limited amount of advice. Yes, here I am asking you, can you please give me some advice to complete this task? Don't we ask our friends? I need some advice to finish this project. You are not asking them to completely advise, give all amount of information. You just want some hint such that you complete that work. That is the difference. Okay. Next, I would love some coffee right now. I would love some coffee right now. Not coffee in general, but limited amount of coffee. Okay. You are restricting yourself to little amount of coffee. For that reason, you are using some. Next, we might get rain tomorrow. We might get rain tomorrow. Some rain would be good for crops. A certain amount of rain as opposed in general. According to sentence, we are looking for some rain. Not the drought or floods. Not the floods or which will take away all the amount of thing. But we want some rain such that our crops will yield. So, stick to the specific meaning of that entities and try to use a or an. Now, non-count nouns are those which usually cannot be counted. We have already discussed. Now, let us see some examples of those. Certain food and drink items which cannot be non-countable. Now, for example, beef, bacon, bread. Bread, we say bread. There are a number of bread slices in that packet, but we refer them as bread. Broccoli. Next, butter, cabbage, candy, okay, cauliflower, celery, cereal, cheese. Can you count all these items? No, but they are having the uniqueness of some, right? Next, certain non-food substances, air, cement, coal, dirt, okay, that which cannot be counted. Next, most abstract nouns. What are the nouns which are having the meaning, which will deliver the meaning, which will describe the quality? Let us see. Advice, anger, beauty, confidence, courage, employment, fun, happiness, health, honesty, information. Isn't it? These are all abstract nouns which are given to the quality, which are named for a quality. Isn't it? Areas of study. What are those? History, math, biology. Are they countable? Are these items countable? No, it is an entity. It is the name. Okay. Next, sports, soccer, football, baseball. Next, languages, Chinese, Spanish, Russian, English. Next, others, anything, clothing, equipment, furniture, homework, jewelry, scenery, traffic, all these things. Okay. Now, try to understand them. Try to make wise use of these articles such that your language become efficient and also you become more and more better in learning your communication skills. Now see, geographical names are confusing because some require the and some do not. Okay, mostly it happens. For which places we have to use the and for which places we should not use the. Let us see with some examples here. Use the with United Countries, large regions, deserts, peninsulas, oceans, seas, rivers, mountains, gulfs, canals. For all these you will be using the. For example, the Gobi Desert, the United Arab Emirates, the Sacramento River, the Eurasians, isn't it? We are going to use to some specific regions or some entities the. Do not use the with. With what kind of words we are not going to use the? Streets, parks, cities, states, because they are the common things which are involved in a country. So mostly we will not specifically use the. For example, Japan, Chico, Mount Everest, San Francisco Bay. Okay, these are all the things we are not using the. Now examples of use of articles, I will like to revise all the things with some examples. Let us see them. I do not want a gun in my house. I do not want a gun. When I say a gun in my house, I mean not any gun. I don't want any gun in my house. Specifically or in general, I am saying I don't want a gun in my house. Next, the gun is in the closet. Now see the difference from one sentence to the other. Here I said I do not want a gun. That means any gun I don't want. There are n number of guns. I don't want any gun in my house. But when I said the gun in the closet, specifically you are referring to the gun which is in the closet. Here you are using the. Next, I am afraid of guns. Why you are not using an or the here? I am afraid of guns. That is plural form. Here any gun, anything, I am afraid of it. So you are not using either a or the or an. So understand this clearly. How to use a, the or no article. Okay, next. She sent me a postcard from Italy. She sent me a postcard from Italy. An unspecified postcard. You are not specifically mentioning about what kind of postcard and all those details. A postcard. It can be any kind of postcard. Next. It is the postcard that I have in my office. That is, you are having the postcard in your office which was sent to you. So, you are here in the second sentence referring to the postcards which was sent to you. When in the first sentence you have told that a postcard was sent to you. While in the other sentence you are specifically mentioned about the postcard which you have in your office. Next, getting postcards makes me want to travel. Here, generally you are referring. Getting postcards takes me to travel. It allows, it wants me to travel. So here, try to understand when you are not using an article, when you are using article, and in that while using articles, when a is used, when an is used, when the is used. I hope it is very, very clear to you all with the examples which I have explained. But always remember, practice makes man perfect. So, whenever you want to make yourself efficient in rendering your language, try to gain that expertise over the grammar of the language, and that can be attained only through the practice. So try to practice the usage of articles when, what, at what entity you are going to use a and the, and when you are not going to use any article. So I hope this will be helping you in making you practice and understand properly the usage of articles, and see that you will become efficient and expertise over this content. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.